Hi all. Let's talk about Chapter 11, Developing and Managing Products. I'm going to skip a couple of slides here and talk first about new product categories. The idea of launching a new product is actually a huge endeavor for any company. They spend a lot of money, many new products fail, and so it's important to follow the steps and try to do your best to get it right. So we have different categories for new products. Products that we call new to the world are exactly that, things that are brand new, innovations we've never had before. New product lines, so something that a firm might add to their list of products, but something they might not have offered before. Product line additions, so you add something onto a product line. Tide, for example, added those little pens that they could use to clean off spots off your shirts, or the pods. Those are additions to the product lines. Improvements or revisions, that's when you see new or improved. Those are slight changes. They're often done to keep a product on the life cycle, a little bit higher on the life cycle, which we're going to talk about shortly. We also have repositioned products, so products that we think of in a certain way and target to a certain market, and now we start to target them elsewhere. So think about something like baking soda, for example. It used to be really just used as a baking tool. Then they talked about it as you put it in your refrigerator to keep it smelling good. You sprinkle it on the floor to make it smell better. People use it to brush their teeth. Those are all different ways to reposition the product. And then a lower price product, something that is similar but now available at a lower price. And we see that happen a lot with technology. There's no guarantee to new product success, but there are some factors that make you more likely to be successful. First is to have a long-term commitment. You can't start working on something and ditch it the minute there's a bump in the road, because there's always bumps in the road. Look at your company and think about a company-specific approach where you're designing new products that meet your strategy for the company, looking at the core values and the core products of the company. Capitalize on your experience. If you are a publisher and you publish newsletters, maybe it's time to start putting those things online, so you still have the same products, now you're delivering them in a different way. And then also create an environment in your company that is conducive to developing new products. One of the things that makes entrepreneurs very different and very innovative is that they're more free will, and they don't have a lot of red tape to get through. So creating that environment is important. Many times when you see marketing books talk about new product development, they show it in this funnel. So I'm not going to read through each of these. You can look at these individually, and we'll talk about each of the different areas that we cover. One of the things that's important is for companies to develop a new product strategy, not just developing products as they come or as an idea pops up, but to think about what meets their objectives as a company, a department, a business unit, whatever it may be, to follow those and to make sure that your products meet those objectives. So the first thing we do is think about idea generation. And truly, there are many places to go for that. It shouldn't just be one person thinking of an idea. Talk to your customers. Talk to employees. People in corporate offices often forget to talk to the customer service reps who meet with customers on the phone every day or even in person. The salespeople, any of the employees that might have ideas. Distributors who are close to you, even looking at what your competitors doing. Talk to the people in R&D. Maybe there's some new technology that can enhance your offerings. You might bring in consultants. When I was a marketing consultant, I actually specialized in new product development and did a lot of work with that. So sometimes you need to bring somebody in to help you along the way because it is something that's different. So some of the ways that we do this are brainstorming, getting people in a room and just allowing them to sort of think out loud and put all the ideas on a board or on little sticky notes or what have you, not complaining about ideas or putting anybody's ideas, just letting everything go and then evaluating or screening them later. I used to conduct focus groups with customers when we had product concepts, and I would get them in the room and ask them, you know, what do you think of this product? Would you use this product? How much would you pay for this product? So those are ways to get started. Once you have many ideas, then you want to start screening them, filtering out the ideas that don't make any sense, they're inconsistent with your company's strategies, they're too expensive, it might take too long, or it might not even be possible. So you want to sort filter through some of those ideas and then actually develop a concept test. So write down, evaluate the new idea, have a prototype built. If it's that, have a product concept written that can be discussed and reviewed with customers in a focus group or some other forum. So you want to look at all of those things. Once you have an idea or a concept in mind, then you're going to start with your business analysis. You're going to look at things like the demand. How much will it cost us to produce? How many do we think we can sell? Is it going to be profitable? Can we find the market? You know, one of the basics in marketing is you have to have a market who has enough people with enough money and the buying authority. So then you have to really start to get down to work and take those things into consideration in a serious way. So some of the development ideas, start thinking about, again, your prototype or a sample of the product. You know, start thinking about your marketing strategy, your branding, your packaging. You know, those things develop over time. You don't always end up with what you start out with, and usually you don't, but you have to start someplace. Start looking at your pricing, looking at how easy or difficult it is to manufacture within your systems. Do we have to buy new equipment? Well, if we have to buy $1 million piece of equipment, does it make sense to develop this product? It might not. As you're doing that, you're going to remember that this isn't one person working in a little box. It's really a team-oriented approach, and you need to get everybody involved, get ideas, get feedback from people. Don't be afraid to listen and make some decisions with that. You can also start test marketing. We see that with companies like McDonald's, and they'll have some kind of a special sandwich at a certain time of the year or some new product that they have limited introduction in a particular area. Many new products are developed in the Midwest. It's easier markets. If you launch a product in New York City, it's so diverse that there's usually somebody who will buy your product. So it's not necessarily a good place to test a product. Again, you have to think about how long testing will take, how much it costs. If you start doing your testing, will the competitors find out about your products and start, coming up with their own products? So you have to be very careful with that. I always had to sign a non-compete agreement that would say that I would, not provide any of the information about the new products to anyone. Some alternatives that you can do to test marketing, or maybe some research, different types of research. You could do market simulations and online testing. It depends on what you're doing. So then we get to a place where we're ready to put this product on the market and we're starting to commercialize it. So we do all of those things that have to happen to bring a product to market. Order the materials, produce it, build up your inventory, figure out your distribution strategies, train the sales force, put announcements in publications, do consumer advertising. All of those things belong in a marketing plan. So when you do a new product launch, it is a very complex and timely process. Okay, why some products succeed and some fail. There are a lot of reasons why products fail, and even though companies put a lot of time and money into testing new products, Coca-Cola, I don't know, 20 years ago, launched a product that was called New Coke, and it was basically Coke that tasted like Pepsi, so it was a little sweeter and had fewer bubbles in it, and nobody liked it. And here Coca-Cola makes a lot of money. So where did they fail? Sometimes you just are interpreting the data incorrectly. You really have to make sure your product is a good match with the market needs. When we think about the success factors that are typically related to a new product launch, it could be some or it could be all of these things. Listen to the customers. Be realistic. You want to produce the best product that is required for this particular need. But I remember doing a focus group for one of my clients, and it was to bring a new database product to the market. And when I looked at it, I immediately said, I don't need to do a focus group on this. Here are all the things that are wrong with it. So immediately I knew that there were things that the customer or that the client didn't want to change, but I put it out to them and said, listen, we can spend a lot of money on a focus group, but maybe you need to fix these features. And even though they were resistant, after we did the focus group, they did change them. So you can also think about the future. Global marketing, you don't usually jump right into global marketing, but that's certainly an issue and an opportunity. One of the things that we talk about is diffusion, how the process by which individuals adopt your products. And we have different categories. The first category is called an innovator. And an innovator is somebody who really wants to have new products as soon as they're out there. They're the people who got the first cell phones or the first big flat screen TVs, even though they were super expensive and they weren't even very good. Then there are the early adopters, and what they do is they are paying attention to what the innovators are suggesting. The innovators, by the way, are about 2.5% of the market. And the early adopters, which make up about 13.5% of the market, they're looking to the innovators, but they're still the ones who are interested in trying new ideas. They're not taking as much risk, but they still are on the leading edge of new products. Then we have something called the early majority, usually about 34%, the next 34% to adopt, and they're going to be a little more give a little more consideration to the pros and cons of adopting the product before they make a purchase decision. The late majority is the next 34%. They're the ones who really only adopt a product because their friends have it. And the laggards, as the final 16%, Simon Sinek in a TED Talk said, they're the ones who only buy touch-tone telephones because dial telephones are no longer available. So other factors that influence how quickly a product is adopted are things like the complexity, how compatible it is with new products or with our lifestyles, the relative advantage of the product, can I observe the benefits of the product, and can I actually try it? It is, if you think about a microwave, when they first came out, nobody had microwaves. We used ovens. And I remember putting a roast beef in a microwave for 20 minutes and having something come out that you could bounce off the floor because you don't use microwaves to cook roast beefs. But that was just the way it was. It was a learning process. When we think about compatibility, if something is compatible with what I'm doing already, I'm more likely to adopt that product. The relative advantage. Am I willing to give up my iPhone 5 to get an iPhone 6? What is the relative advantage to me? Is the phone clarity better? Is the camera better? What is it that provides the advantage? And for some people, they're more interested, again, the innovators and the early adopters are more interested in those features. And then observability. A lot of times people really want to be able to see others use the product and experience the benefits of a product through other customers. And finally, trialability, the degree to which you can actually try the product. Other factors in terms of the process are, how do we communicate in order to get this process going, in order to get customers to start buying? And word of mouth is huge. It's, opinion leaders discussing products. So, when Oprah goes out and says, I like these bubble baths or this book or whatever it is, everybody runs to get it because everybody respects, or a large portion of the marketplace respects Oprah. Also, the marketers are responsible for various types of communications. This is where your advertising comes in, working with public relations, using social media, and any of the other devices that are out there that are specific for your market. Now, the product life cycle is a concept about how long a product will last on the marketplace, and I'm just going to skip to the next slide. So what happens is a product comes to the market, and I'm going to show you with my cursor here, and it comes into this introductory stage, and that's when it's new. And over here you can't see it, but this is all the product development, all the expense that goes into developing the new product. And when we first bring it out to the market, we have slower sales. And as those innovators and early adopters start to purchase the product, we go into what we call the growth stage. And this is where we're dumping a lot of advertising money. We have a lot of advertising money here. In the introductory stage, also in the growth stage of the product, where we're letting everybody know about it and people are starting to purchase the product. Once the market is fairly saturated, it goes into this maturity stage. And maturity can either be flat or it can have a little bit of a decline. So people are now replacing the product, only they don't need new product. You have a cell phone now, you don't need to buy another one for a couple of years. It goes into that maturity stage. Again, why should I buy a new iPhone? Well, if I have the iPhone 4 and I haven't purchased an iPhone 6, that iPhone 4 is now in the decline stage where it's starting to lose money. The company is not producing it anymore. The salespeople aren't really pushing it anymore. They might be trying to sell off whatever product that they have left. And this is very real, and one of the things that businesses do to extend this growth stage is to launch new features to products. Here are the stages of the product life cycle again, and I'm not going to go over these. You can read these yourself. But again, the introductory stage, this is where most of the failures will occur. There are a lot of costs going on. There's limited distribution because you're just getting the product out to the market. That growth stage where we're now investing more money in our marketing and our advertising, we're widening our distribution. We have increasing sales. The maturity stage where we are now seeing a decrease in sales, the market is saturated. Then we again go into that decline stage where our sales are dropping. We're, as an organization, abandoning the product. And finally, this last slide shows us, if we overlay the product life cycle with the diffusion of innovation process, you could see kind of where the innovators fall in here through the introduction stage and the early adopters. The early majority is responsible in the growth stage, and as we grow, we get into the late majority and the laggards. So that's it for this chapter. I hope that this was helpful, and we'll try another one for the next chapter. Have a nice night.